Good morning, this is the Mary Grant Nature Preserve Committee meeting for Saturday, January 19th, 2019. I got the year right this time. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Old business. So at our last meeting, we came up with a list of a whole bunch of events that we were considering doing for 2019. So this meeting, we need to pick 4 to 6 events and then set dates for them. So we know the spring cleanup is a must. We know the pumpkin carving party is a must. I say we choose at least 1, possibly 2 more, and then we can set dates.
I think a townwide picnic.
Organized story trail is, I think, is important.
Okay.
The townwide picnic and the 4th of July party in the park can kind of be the same, right?
Absolutely. I don't see why it couldn't be. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the 4th. It could be on the weekend before, the weekend after.
But just a Liberty celebration.
Right.
And to that, camping in the park and campfire weekend can
Right.
with stargazing, they can
Yeah.
all be
Combined.
Right.
combined into one. So there, we have that.
There we go.
We'll do them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, check that out. Aren't we just the model
We are.
policy this morning?
I told you guys it would be quick. So that's it for old business. New business, first thing on the agenda is to set dates for these events. So I would propose for the spring cleanup, we do May 18th, which is the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend.
Which is perfect because I will be just getting back from my next military trip. So
Okay,
yeah, so I'll be here for
fine.
that.
Next time you come, take me with you.
Sure. It'll be May, so it won't be quite as
Right.
enticing.
So
Yeah, there we
we
go.
could do that for an entire weekend. We can give people options either Saturday or Sunday to come.
Okay. If we do that, I think I would like, if the whole board can't be there both days, that
We split that.
some folks from the board be there Saturday, some folks from the board be there Sunday, and then we can go from there. So that's the spring cleanup weekend, 4th of July party, townwide picnic. So do we want to shoot for the last weekend in June or the first weekend in July? So it would be June 29th, is that Saturday, or July 6th?
My vote is the 6th. After. Because everyone, I think, will have a long weekend.
What day is the 4th
Yeah.
on?
The 4th is on Thursday.
Yeah, I think I would say the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, July 6th.
So 4th of July and townwide picnic on Saturday, July 6th. So camping, campfire weekend, and stargazing.
Do we want to do that Labor Day weekend?
I'd say we do it the weekend before Labor Day. Reason being, lots of families have already Labor Day
Right.
tradition.
Correct.
Not to mention the fact that that 1 extra week buys us 1 extra week of warmth. I know that
Yes.
sounds
Right.
silly,
Yeah, no, you're right.
but 1 week makes a huge difference weather-wise here.
Are you talking August 24th?
That's where that would put us,
Prior,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, fine.
Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
I think,
Mhm.
yeah, for me it is.
Put it in the calendar.
And it's not going to be a one-night event or a two-night event. So arrive Friday and leave Sunday, or just arrive Saturday and camp for one night?
I would say let's leave that tentative until we actually start making the plans for the
Okay.
event.
Perfect.
Because if we only have enough overthought or forethought to to have activities for only one night, we drag it out too much.
Right.
And if we have really great ideas and we need those 2 days, then we have it, but I think if we determine that now, it puts a little more pressure.
Okay,
So I'd say we save the setting it 1 day versus 2 for the working group and figure that out at the working group.
sure. So the camping, campfire, stargazing, the weekend of August 24th, to be determined if it's 1 night or 2 nights. Organized story trail, story walk with someone from the library or a storyteller.
So we've got a May, July, and August.
You want to shoot for a weekend in June?
I think that would be a good idea.
We seem to be
Right after
doing,
school gets out.
yeah, we seem to be doing like the last weekends.
Okay.
Do we want to shoot for the 22nd or the 29th of June?
Call me crazy, but I say 29th. Well, but then we've
29th,
got
you're
July
looking-
6th.
Right, the 29th, you're wicked close to that
Yeah.
July 4th weekend.
So do you think even with snow days, will the kids be out of school?
That's what I was thinking too.
By the 22nd? Yeah, I think so.
The other option we have is the 15th. If we're going to do it a Saturday, it's not going to
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt anything if they're still in school. or not.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to do
That's
the 22nd then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the question I have from Story Walk is who's going to find us someone to tell the story?
And how long does the story need to be?
Right.
It just needs to go through the trail.
We could do a story walk that's there and have someone that's one person that goes with the group and reads the story as they go, or we could try to get one person at each story post to tell that part of the story.
And we can have activities planned, like,
Yeah.
in different
Right.
styles throughout.
Yes.
And again, we can leave this for a working group a couple
Yeah.
weekends before.
Okay.
But I think we need to figure out if we want one storyteller or multiples, because
Okay.
then we can start working that angle to get people.
I like the idea of multiples,
Okay.
right? They're going on to the next adventure and how each person tells the story might be a little bit different and it kind of makes it a little more, I'm kind of digging that idea.
Shannon, do you remember how many story posts there are there?
A lot.
10?
Are we snowshoeing on Monday to figure it
Well, I'll be at work, so have fun with that.
out? Are we snowshoeing on Monday?
I'll be at work too.
Oh,
That's
yes.
great. I may be snowshoeing on Monday.
We can regroup on that. The
And-
library may just
And
know.
what kind of a story? I mean,
Well, again, are we gonna do the story that's there on the storyboard?
okay, or something.
Well, I think at that point, we need to find out whether or not they're changing the story
Okay,
so that we can, I mean, I'm going to assume that the library is going to change the story between now and then. A more appropriate, I don't think they need to tell a story about mittens
in the summer? Come on!
in the June.
In the June,
So one of the things I can do is see if I can get myself into the next library board meeting and then talk to them about that and see if that's something they're interested in doing. Because that may help direct us
right?
into, are we gonna have one storyteller or multiples? Because it'd be easier if we can get the whole library board there, because that essentially doubles our size. So I'll see if I can get on their next agenda to have that conversation with them and see if that's something they're interested in doing.
Okay.
Anything else on the story trail?
Not at the moment.
So then the last date I have is pumpkin carving that we need to set. And I would propose, I think the school is going to do the trunk or treat probably on the 26th.
Okay, so we'll do it a week before.
So we can plan the 19th of October. Okay.
Alright.
So what I'll do, now that we have dates set, is I will go on Facebook to the Mary Grant page and I'll create the events and I'll start hyping them up as we go. And we can go from there. Next new business is the spring cleanup. Obviously, it would be nice if the whole board was there, some community members, but I'd also like to see if we can get a couple couple of the local Boy Scout troops to help us, or Girl Scout troops, or something like that.
My cousin Carol does the Girl Scouts. What do they, I don't even remember, what did they call
The brownies?
no, what did they call the lady or whoever headed up like in Boy Scouts it's the den mother? Why can't I think of this? I was a Girl Scout.
I don't know.
Brain dead.
You know, like, did we have something? Like it was, Sherry Learn was ours.
I had Sue Whiteley.
I had Sue Whiteley for cadets, I had Sherry Learn for boys. Shoot. Anyway, Carol does that with the girls.
Okay.
She's like, they have their Girl Scout troop. I can ask her. And then if we can get the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts in on it.
Okay.
But I'll touch bases with Carol.
And/or high school students for the community service hours.
That was the next thing I was going to discuss. So I will try to contact some of the local troops, Chatham, Wakefield, I don't think Acton has a troop, or Springvale, to see if any of them would be interested in helping us.
For the Boy Scouts, you mean?
For the Boy Scouts. And then at the same time, I will pitch maybe a camping weekend where they can come and they can camp in the park.
Oh, nice.
And then this kind of ties into the next item, the community service hours for local students. Either the elementary school or the high school. I know the high school needs community service hours to graduate now. So I think someone needs to put out there that we're doing a spring cleanup and we would be willing to sign off on some community service hours.
Is that, when you create the events on Facebook, we can have that as part of the write-up.
Okay.
You know, if
Hype up the
If
community
you-
service
Right.
hours.
If your high schooler needs community service hours, this would be a great opportunity to help out the town as well as get their
Okay.
hours that they need.
So what I can do is I'll come up with a blurb, a very generalized blurb on the dates we set and what we have going on. I'll run it by everyone on the board, and then I'll post it on our Facebook page, post it on the Sanford Springville page, and the Acton page. And other than that, very generalized, at each event we can use community service hours, someone to help either read stories or just help overall with the events.
Set up, turn down.
Now, with community service, do you give out certificates?
Typically, they come with a piece of paper. I know from the
Oh,
high school, they
okay,
come with a piece of
okay.
paper
It has
that
to
we
be
say how many
signed.
hours and we sign off on it.
Okay, it's the
Um,
form.
Outside of that, if they don't, I would craft a
Okay.
letter and just sign off.
Alrighty.
Or whoever's on the board that's there can sign
Right.
off. Picnic tables. So all but one of the picnic tables there now are essentially rotted and unusable. I have at least one picnic table I can donate, I just need to make sure it's in good shape. But do we want to approach local retailers, Lowe's, any of the hardware stores, and see if they'll donate one or two picnic tables to the preserve?
Yeah?
Yes,
And who wants to do that?
I nominate Bob to.
Okay.
Only because she has a name.
I can't use that in, I have to go to Lowe's.
That's fine.
I can't use that in because it's,
Conflict?
yes, it would be a conflict,
Right.
so I would have to go to Lowe's.
So what we could do
And that
with,
in is when I start my new job.
if you strike out with places in Sanford, I can approach Home Depot in Biddeford and Rochester.
In Rochester, okay.
That way we avoid the conflict of interest and we
Sure.
still get it out there that we're looking for picnic tables. I don't mind building them if they want to donate the material.
And actually, I'd like to donate one as well, so that gives less than we have to.
Okay.
How many are we looking to have?
I think there's 4 there now.
I was gonna say, I think that we need to have 4.
Right.
Keep
One,
it on.
one of which is good, so I think we need at least 3 decent picnic tables.
Do we need picnic tables as such, or can't we have these type of tables? Because they're more durable?
The nice thing about picnic tables is you can leave them out and people can use them without someone necessarily
Oh,
going there and opening up the barn to get them out.
Okay, just a suggestion.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the catch with picnic tables is, at the end of the season, someone needs to go and prop them up so the water will run off when it's sitting on the ride.
Well, so then this is my question too, is once the snow hits, we're really not getting into the building over there.
Right,
Couldn't we just
we could,
put them in
absolutely.
the building so that they straight up avoid the weather
Yeah.
altogether?
I think I'd still want to leave one out if we're going to encourage folks to use the park in the winter for snowshoeing and
That's
skiing.
your point, we'll just make sure that one's treated well.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
but if we can get the picnic tables before the spring cleanup weekend, one of the things we can add to the list is to treat the picnic tables, either poly them or stain them or something, so they have some kind of protection on them.
Yeah, okay.
And to that, we will need to clean out the barn so that we have someplace to put.
Well, that'll probably be part of spring cleanup anyway, so
Right,
that's a good shame.
okay. Anything else on picnic tables?
No?
I have one item to add to the agenda. I got a letter from Jen Rue that I'm going to read. Two department committee chairs from Jen Rue regarding the Board of Selectmen meetings. Effective immediately, the Board of Selectmen will be inviting 2 or 3 departments and/or committees to their weekly meetings on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. The purpose of this is to update the selectmen and the citizens of Acton on what's going on in your department or committee. Please plan on sending the chair along with any other representation that wishes to attend. Your update should be 10 to 15 minutes maximum. As you will see from the enclosed schedule, each group will appear before the selectmen approximately every 3 months. Please know these meetings are mandatory and we appreciate your efforts in adhering to this schedule. If you have any questions, please contact me directly. So the meetings, the Mary Grant Committee is expected to attend, or at least someone from the committee, February 12th, April 16th, June 18th, August 20, and November 22, and I will communicate all that by email, so you don't need to write it all down. I was planning after this meeting on attending the selectmen's meeting anyway, so I will just wait until February 12th and I'll lay out what we have coming up, the dates, as well as anything else we have going on. The issue that I have is, most of you know that I travel sometimes quite extensively for work, so I will need someone else to step in for me for the dates that I may be unavailable for.
I think that, quite honestly, if I may speak freely, a 5 p.m. mandatory meeting is unacceptable for it to be dictated.
I agree.
And people work, typically people can't be back at 5 o'clock. So to make that a mandatory thing, like you must take leave
Right.
after all of the time that you volunteered for this committee, you must also burn leave from your
Right.
job to be able to attend said meeting.
So I went back and I watched the selectmen's meeting on YouTube where they decided they wanted to do this, and there is some leeway where you don't necessarily have to go that week, that's the selected week for you, but you could swap weeks with another committee. Or as long as we let Jennifer know ahead of time, you know, geez, we can't make this meeting, we can make that meeting, or we can't get there till 6 o'clock. I think the agenda can be adjusted appropriately for the board.
Yeah, okay. My personal selfish concern with that is that I will be working in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
So even getting back for a 6 o'clock meeting is
Right.
not going to happen.
Okay,
It's just not. And given that I'm just starting this job in February,
you don't want
to be,
that out early.
well, to be starting in the first couple of months saying, oh, by the way, I already have to take a bunch of
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, like, that's, yeah, so anyway, I'm not opposed to helping out, but for me personally, it's not gonna be until later on in the
Okay.
year that I'm gonna be able to make that type of a schedule even close to work.
So part of my plan when I am attending the February 12th meeting is I'll lay out what we have, and then I will plead to the board that we are not an extremely active committee. Can we go 2 times a year instead of 5 or
Right.
6? And if they want us there more, that's fine. They're gonna get the same thing over and over by the board members, but we've got committee members that are there.
If they wanna let us FaceTime into the meeting, I'm happy to cover that. Hey, this is 2018.
Right, right.
It's 2019 even, look, if we can record meetings to be shown to the town, I think we can FaceTime in to cover
Right.
down on a meeting if we need to. as
Okay.
well. So that's just
We
a
can-
suggestion.
I'm planning on attending all the meetings unless I'm not in
Unless you're
town.
traveling, okay.
Whether I have anything to update or not, I may stand at the podium and say, there's nothing new, our next event is X. Or the last event was a huge success, or the last event was a huge failure, we don't plan on doing it again, or whatever it winds up being.
Yeah.
But it will be a short and sweet update. Any other new business? Okay. Next meeting date for the committee, I'm going to say out loud now, it's going to be a workshop. It's going to be at Mary Grant Nature Preserve. And I would like to say 2 weeks before the spring cleanup. So that should put us at May 4th.
I'll be in Hawaii.
May the 4th,
Star Wars Day.
Okay.
But the plan for that workshop will be to create a list of needs and create a list of wants and then prioritize them so that we have some kind of working list and somebody can direct any and all volunteers we have for that meeting.
And how horrible is it gonna be that I'm not there?
It won't be horrible.
Because otherwise we'll have to do it differently.
If you are not busy with your commitment, we can FaceTime or we can do whatever if you wanted to attend the meeting and have some input.
Okay.
But if your commitments pull you away from your device, that's okay too, and then we can just keep you updated.
Can we do it later in the day? Because I'm thinking it's gonna be a
Yes.
little chilly out there.
I'm thinking
Possibly.
mid-afternoon when the sun is at its hottest.
Okay. Just saying,
And then at that point, I think
May 4th is gonna be chilly?
maybe. It's been weird around
it
here.
won't be hot, but it won't, I don't think it'll be 5 degrees either.
Okay, so I keep getting in front of you, I'm so
That-
sorry.
That's fine.
But I think at that point, I'd also like to address the inside of the barn and maybe straighten it up a little bit, so that we have some working room and some place to store things and anything else. Anything else? Then I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Meeting adjourned.